Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to do a quick video and give you guys some tips on how you can grow your wedding business and become a full-time wedding photographer. And this is just what helped me along the way, and I was able to become a full-time wedding photographer within a year with all my hard work. And that's also the reason why I kind of just stepped away from YouTube for almost an entire year, because that was the time that I was just really growing my business. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that you want to do is you want to build your portfolio. So obviously, if you are starting out or you have been doing photography for a while and you've been doing kind of different things like families and portraits and kids or newborns or whatever, and now you want to get into wedding photography, you want to make sure that you build your wedding photography portfolio. So what does this mean? That means you want wedding work put out there so people who are getting married, brides who are getting married, they can find you. What I did and what helped me is I set up styled shoots, or I joined styled shoots. I was able to put out wedding work like that. So what you can do is, if you're kind of just starting out, it may be hard to get, contact vendors and collaborate with them. And actually what I did is anything that was super like big, where you had a table set up or you had a ceremonial set up or anything of that sort, I would find other photographers that were setting up these shoots, and they had like multiple photographers there, just because I didn't want to put in that much work. And ways that you can find those photographers, or ways you can find who's setting up styled shoots, is obviously through social media. But one of the platforms that really helped me was Styled Shoots of America. So if you look them up on Instagram or on Facebook, there's there's basically all these different vendors, and they post all the different shoots coming up in different locations and things like that that you can join. And once after you go to a couple of those, you can set up something on your own, because now you have like work to show. So if you're super creative and you want to like collaborate and do like a huge setup and come up with your own idea or vision in mind, go for it. It is a lot of time. It takes a lot of planning, but it is worth it if you are that creative person and you would love to do something like that. Another thing that I did is anything that was of my own, I would do something a little bit more smaller. So I would just collaborate with a bridal shop and a florist, and then take my couple and go to some really nice location that has some scenery, and that's it. Just because I didn't want to do anything huge. The next thing you want to do is go to, contact some photographers and ask if you could second shoot. That way you kind of get an idea of what the day looks like. That way when you do get hired for a wedding, you're not like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So contact some photographers, see if you can second shoot. Even if it's for free, and then see if you could possibly even use some of those photos. If you can't use those photos because the photographer is like, no, I don't want you using anything of my work, that's okay. At least you're getting practice. At least you're seeing how the day is going. The second thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and set up your social media. And so this is how you're going to promote your work. And what I recommend doing is just have a if you're kind of doing smaller, sessions on the side, like families and kids or, newborns, I don't recommend that you combine that work with your wedding work. You want to make sure that your social media does look a little bit more like branded, and that you're trying to target a specific client. So create a social media that's just around your wedding work. So I would just post, weddings, elopements, and couples, and just keep it in that niche. And then if you're doing smaller sessions on the side here and there, then just put it up on your stories. That way people do know you take smaller sessions. I don't have a problem with booking smaller sessions, but I know a lot of people get so kind of scared, and they're like, oh well, while I'm building my wedding work, I want to be able to do smaller sessions. So what ends up happening is you are trying to promote all the families and all of this, you know, all those sessions, and then you're not putting enough work to building your wedding. So you want to like focus on one thing, because in the end it's going to be much worth it, and you're going to grow so much more faster. Build your social media, brand it, make sure you're on Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever, you know, social media platforms there are. Go ahead and make them and build them. A couple tips for when you're using social media. Most of my clients do come from Instagram at this point. And the way that my brides find me is they find me through location hashtags. And I see a lot of photographers, they do miss that. Make sure you're, you know, if you're, you know, I'm from Springfield, Missouri. So I would, you know, for my hashtags, I would put in hashtag Springfield, Missouri photographer, hashtag Springfield, Missouri wedding photographer, hashtag Missouri photographer. So I use a lot of location hashtags because this is how the brides find me. You don't want to use like wandering weddings and beloved wedding stories and all those, you know, Junebug weddings, you know, all those, you know, other Instagram accounts that kind of promote other people's work, because a bride doesn't know, you know, she doesn't know those even exist. So her first instinct would be to search by hashtag. I found that to be very helpful. Also, make sure that you are tagging vendors in your photos. So, you know, whatever vendors that you worked with, if you did a styled shoot, or if you did do a wedding, make sure you get like a vendor list and tag the vendors as well. And also send them your gallery, your wedding gallery, because if you allow those vendors to use your work and post it on their social media, their websites, that means more potential brides can see your work. I've had so many brides contact me because the venue posted my photos, or the makeup artist posted my photos, you know, and, you know, I've had a lot of brides contact me through that way as well. Also, be very active on your stories, because right now, like, video is super popular. So you want to make sure that you're always putting yourself out on stories, take behind the scenes, like people love that stuff. So just be very active on your social media, especially on your stories. The third thing that helped me to grow my business is, and this is super important, you guys, this is probably like before anything else, is make sure you have a website and build one yourself if you have to. You don't have to go and spend $5,000 or hire somebody. You can get a template. You can, you know, purchase a website that is inexpensive and you make it, because you will be surprised how many brides send me inquiries through my website, not through Instagram, not through Facebook, even though they find me through those platforms. If a bride is serious about hiring a serious photographer, they're gonna want to contact you professionally. And through the website is the most professional way that they will contact you. Most of my brides that contact me through social media end up being kind of wishy-washy, you know. And that's not everybody, but I'm just saying the majority of them either will like just a quick message and then you reply and then they don't reply back. It was just like, you kind of don't know, are they really seriously looking for a photographer? Are they looking for someone that can meet their budget? Or, you know, it just seems like those type of people don't take photography seriously. So make sure you build a website and have a contact form. It does not have to be perfect, especially when you're starting out. You don't have to have a perfect website. My website was like so average, it wasn't great. And then when I got really serious about building my wedding portfolio, I went ahead and hired somebody to do my website and made it really specific to my style and brand. The fourth thing that you want to do is you want to set up a way where it is easier for your client to communicate with you. You want to have some type of management system where all your forms, emailing, contracts, questionnaires, everything is in one place. So there's so many different kinds out there, and I literally looked at all of them. And my favorite one was Dubsado. And the reason why I really like Dubsado is because I felt like it was the most professional. I felt like I'm able to, you know, when I was able to make all my questionnaire forms and my contracts, I was able to use fun little fonts and texts, and you can add pictures. And some of the other management systems were like super basic, so I really didn't like that about them. And also everything is so electronic and easy. So when you send a contract and you send an invoice, literally your client can open that up right from their phone, do all the signing. Even with the questionnaires, you know, I have a wedding questionnaire that I send out a couple weeks before their wedding to get more like information and scheduling and all of that. And they can literally fill that out right from their phone. They don't have to worry about trying to send something through a PDF file or having to print, sign, send back, like none of that. And that is super important, you guys, because we live in a society where everybody's like quick. They want everything quick and easy. Let's say, for example, they contact 10 photographers, and you're the only photographer out of the 10 that is making everything so easy. You look branded, you're very rememberable. They're more likely to book you than the other photographer who has made everything so complex. Or they're like, okay, you need to print this, sign it, then send it back, take a photo of it. Like, people don't really like that. So it's an advantage to you. Is it an investment to get that type of management system? Of course. I paid $273 for the entire year, but I can honestly tell you it was worth doing. And another thing that I like about Dubsado is the fact that they have a client portal system, which I didn't find, you know, any other management systems having that. I'm sure there is at this point 1 or 2 other new ones that I have heard of, but what I really like about the client portal is that my clients have their own login, and they can actually go in and log in, fill out forms, pay their invoices anytime that they want. So it makes it easier for the client because they have one place they can go to where they can have all the forms, instead of being like, okay, well, when did she send me a print release, or when did she send me this, or when did she send me that? They're trying to fumble through their email trying to find, you know, an email, or they're messaging you again and they're like, I can't find this form, can you send it to me again? So it's cool that they have a client portal because that's where they can find everything too. And also, all your emailing you can make automatic. So if you are sending an email multiple times to multiple clients, for example, when their galleries are ready, you're going to send the same email to everybody. With the management system, you can actually make it automatic to where they will get the email, you know, everybody gets the same email, but you have it automatic to where you do it to a specific day and time, and it'll do it for you. Then you don't have to worry about like forgetting or going back and stuff like that. The fifth thing is kind of what I was talking about before, branding. It is so important that you brand your business, which means when people come to your pages, social media, website, specifically to your style or like color. So for example, I have a color, like a background color that I used on my website. It's like a very soft, like pinkish, tannish kind of tone. I think it's more on the pink side. So I like branded that color to everything. So for example, my Instagram, when people click on my link tree where they see all my links to everything, the background is pink, you know, that light pink. Even my YouTube, if you go on my YouTube and you look at my main page, it's like, you know, I have like a pink background. So I kind of just branded everything to my style, to my text, the way that I write. So that's super important. Have some consistency. People love that. And then it's easier for them to also remember you, who you are. The sixth thing that I wanted to talk about is your equipment that you use. So as a photographer, you know, I think this is where I find people messaging me the most, or, you know, asking me questions. Like, people just become so like not confident in their work. And so they feel like because they are shooting on a, you know, Canon 6D or like a lower end camera or medium end camera, that they feel like their work is not up to par. And so they're like, okay, well, I'm only going to charge $500 a wedding, or $1,000 a wedding because I don't have all the best camera equipment. And you guys, it really doesn't matter. It really matters the quality of your work and the lighting that you use. And so keep in mind, if you are using equipment that is, you know, you're not using the latest, you know, camera that just came out, and you're using something that was a few years before or whatever, you know, match your pricing to your equipment. So for example, I feel like if you are using a Canon 6D or 7D or 80D or whatever it is, and I'm just specifically saying Canon because I use Canon, so I don't know what like the Nikon levels are or whatever, so, or Sony, but you know, for that, for example, the 6D, 7D, whatever, those are like the medium level cameras. I, you know, would be charging maybe like $1,500 a wedding. I would not be out there charging $3,000 a wedding. So you kind of want to make your pricing make sense to the equipment that you're using. Now, once you grow and you invest and you get more lenses, then you can go higher on the pricing. So, and you get the latest camera model or whatever, then you can actually up your pricing a little bit. But at the end of the day, it has more to do with your service, and it has more to do with like basically your service, not so much the quality of the work. Yes, there has to be quality, but at the end of the day, it's your services. So what are you providing your client that no one else can provide? You know, how are you standing out differently? The next thing I wanted to talk about, you know, the 7th tip is, you know, professionalism over quality. At the end of the day, if you are professional, if you are fun, if you are just, you know, you take care of your client and you're not like wishy-washy with them, or you're not like, you know, you don't want to be snotty. Like I hear so many of, you know, clients that have told me like, oh, the photographer didn't do this, or there was miscommunication there, and then they didn't go above and beyond. You always want to go above and beyond, you know, for your clients. So service is going to be the most important thing. And I see even, you know, photographers that are charging $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then I look at the quality of their work and I can easily do that. What they're doing, I can easily do. So, you know, I could be charging that much too if I really wanted to, depending on the area or how I want to grow my business. You know, I'm charging what is like in the average and where I live. So basically at the max, you know, pricing that I can go. But, you know, like I said before, it's going to be professionalism over quality at the end of the day. So, you know, you could be the best and perfect photographer out there and give them the best images, but if your service was just kind of like you were this boring person and like, you know, you didn't direct, or you just weren't like, you guys know what I mean, they're gonna forget you. They're gonna be like, oh, well, I got my pictures, they're great, but the photographer was kind of like boring, or they didn't direct, or this or that, you know. So you want to make sure that you're memorable, and services at the end of the day is going to be the most important. So those are my 7 tips of how I was able to grow as a full-time photographer within a year. I put in an entire year of my hard work. And so this was last year, this was in 2019 that I put in all my work and effort to grow my business. And here I am in 2020, and I have my ideal client at this point. But unfortunately, we are kind of in a coronavirus, you know, crisis, so weddings are being pushed back, which kind of stinks. I'm gonna be really honest with you, because I was so excited for this year, and I'm like, finally got my clients, finally charging the prices I want to charge, and just really, really excited about the year. And then this crisis comes, and so, you know, things are kind of being pushed back. So it's hard because we don't know the future. But anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling. I hope these tips really helped you guys. And if there's anything that I missed, or anything that you feel like have helped you build your business, as a wedding photographer, or any tips and tricks that you can share, please comment below. And also like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, which I will be putting out more videos since we are you know, mostly at home right now and having to be in, you know, that quarantine life. So thank you for watching, and you guys have a good one. Bye.